Hi, I want to take just a couple of minutes to walk through the steps that you need to follow when assigning evaluation processes to your staff. For the purpose of this demonstration, I am impersonating one of the building principals, Dr. McKinley, just to give you a cleaner view of what that process looks like. Once you log in, it's very important. You're going to start out here on this toggle called My Staff. And you want to be sure that you're under all staff here. And the reason for that is a lot of times it will default to evaluation. That's at this time of the year, we haven't assigned many of the processes or any of the processes, so it's going to look like you have no staff. You have to first assign the processes. So to do that, you go to all staff. And then at that point, you want to narrow that staff list down, because right now you have certified and support staff in. So to do that, I found that one of the best ways to do that is to, let me get this right. Go in here under job types, and you want to go to teacher. Now this is blocking our view, so we're going to move it over. And we'll go back in. Sorry for that. And you're going to select teacher. And then I like to start with non-tenured, or in this program, they're a P, probationary. Now, once you've done that, oh, it did not click on. It's getting in our way just a tad bit here. So these are now all the probationary teachers. So we know they all need a non-tenured evaluation process. And the quickest way to do that is to just click this top box and assign it to all of them in one bulk action. I'm not going to do that in this presentation because that's a lot of going back and correcting. So for the purpose of this presentation, we're just going to click on one, and that's Anna. And we're going to come over here to bulk action. Doesn't matter if you have 1 or 20 clicked. And you're going to say add a process and hit go. Once you've done that, you're going to have 2 drop downs that you need to select from. This is an evaluation. It's not an action plan. You would select action plan if you were asking or the process was to be a professional improvement plan. So that would be something you would talk to Dr. St. Pierre about. But 99% of all evaluation assignments are going to be straight evaluations. And once you've done that, this drop down tells you all the evaluations that could possibly be assigned to a teacher. We know that we want the teacher non-tenured evaluation. You can see there are specific evaluation processes for instructional coach, librarian, and then there's also one for counselor as well. So we have select librarian, and we do not want that. So we'll just go back and select the non-tenured. At this point, it's going to tell you the due date for that process and all of the tasks associated with that process. Now, once the process is fully activated and you're going through it during the school year, keep in mind that tasks that are the responsibility of the teacher to initiate show up on their side, and tasks that are the responsibility of the principal to initiate show up on their side. So the professional growth plan, the SLO, are not going to show up on in your folder in the beginning, because the teacher has to initiate it and send it to the principal, and vice versa with the observation form and the summative. The teacher doesn't have access to that first. The principal has access to it first. So you've looked at it, you see what all is in there, and you assign the process. Now it's going to take you back to that original screen, and you can see it takes you right back to all staff. But what we want to do is flip over to the evaluation just to see, did it come over? And what does that look like? Yes, here's Anna. She has a non-tenured teacher evaluation, and it has a deadline. Now, Dr. McKinley may decide that Anna's actually going to be observed by the assistant, Dr. Farron. And if that's the case, then what she's going to do, and she may have 20 teachers that are going to be evaluated by Dr. Farron, and she can, once they're all in there and she's assigned their processes, she can bulk sign them to be evaluated by Dr. Farron. But for the purpose of this presentation, we're just going to look at one. And what Dr. McKinley would do is assign evaluator, hit go, She would type in Dr. Farron's name or whoever the assistant principal might be, and then she would hit assign. And yes, I'm going to confirm that. And now you can see the process, who's responsible for it, and the deadline. Now, after all this work, Dr. McKinley may say, oh my goodness, you know what, I forgot. She's not supposed to have that process. So she has an option here. She's clicked on her. She can say, I'm going to delete that process. She could also add another process at this point. Perhaps Anna's going to be a coach or a department chair, grade level chair, whatever it might be. She has that option to add another process at this point or delete that process. And it's going to ask for confirmation that we want it deleted. And there you go. That process has been completely deleted. So there are several tools in here that principals can use to assign and unassign processes. So moving forward, our next step would be we need to look at our tenured teachers. And to do that, if I can manage to get this, it's a T. And we're going to now pull up, hopefully, all of the tenured teachers. Oh, and this is a perfect example. I'm sitting here thinking, why are no teachers pulling up? Why are no teachers pulling up? It's because I'm under evaluation. I haven't assigned the processes yet, so there's no one to view. If I use this same filter and go under staff, now I have my staff. Now this gets a little bit trickier in that not all tenured teachers get a full process. So you have to know, okay, what is the cycle for this year? Is it cycle A, B, or C? And then what teachers for that cycle get the full process. So let's just say that Gail is on cycle this year. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to add a process, hit go, and then it's an evaluation. And now we're going to look at the teacher tenured cycle. That's what we would assign if she is on schedule for a full evaluation. Once you have assigned all of your tenured teachers who are on cycle for evaluation, the FZSD Teacher Tenured Eval 6+, then you've got to go back and all the tenured teachers who are not on cycle need to be assigned the FZSD Teacher Off Cycle process. That process just has the PGP, the SLO, and an opportunity for the teacher to reflect on their professional growth. Librarians have non-tenured, tenured, and off-cycle processes, as do behavior specialists and as well as your counselors. So you just continue to repeat that assignment process. So if we go ahead and we go through here and we look, and now this one has the due date of April 1st. Again, you're going to have, this was a non-off-cycle process. You can see what's included in that. If Gail was a teacher that should have received the tenured process, it's not really sure why it doesn't have the due date on there. Something we can look at, but you will see it as a much more extensive process. If she were on cycle for the full evaluation, you're going to have your correct number of observations, and then, of course, the end of the year summative. Now, we're not going to actually assign this. We're going to go ahead and hit cancel. So you do have that opportunity to change your mind before you hit that. Therefore, we don't have to delete that particular process. You're going to continue with that until you have all of your certified staff assigned to appropriate processes. You know, this is also where you're going to assign your support staff. So let's say you've got some new, let's go to paraprofessionals. Of course, they do not use a tenured. So we're going to go back to all levels. And now these are all the paraprofessionals. And you would have to look at that and really see, do they need let's look at if we did Christine Burton and we want to start a process for her. Let's see what our options are. We're going to add a process, go. This is an evaluation process. Oops. And let's see what the options there are. You know, you have to decide, is this a new paraprofessional that needs to first be assigned to 45-day, or this is a paraprofessional, they're on their 5th year and you know you've got to do an end of the year paraprofessional. You can also see that coach evaluations are here, club sponsors. Not really sure what that is in there for. Something we can look at getting corrected. And again, you're going to assign that process. Let's say you assign a 45-day and the person quits on you before 45 days. It really is important to go back in and delete that process the same way I showed you how you would delete it from, let's just go ahead and let's say we assign that and it's got it in there. Maybe I can get it past here. We'll assign the process, and then that person, wants me to put a due date in. So we'll just put, you would know your 45 days. So I'm just going to stick this one in. I know that's not right, but assign a process. That helps you to kind of know too when that 45-day has to be done. And now let's just go on over here to evaluation and see, how does it look? Did it come over? Is it there? And we can see that we do have a 45-day in here, the Christine. Let's say Christine doesn't stay with us the full 45 days. If you can, it's helpful in keeping your system clean if you come back in here and you want to get rid of that. And you're just going to delete that process. And you're going to get a confirmation on that. Those are the basic steps that you need to follow as you move through assigning processes to certified and support staff. The important thing to keep in mind is that before the process is assigned, you want to be under all staff. Once a process is assigned, you will find that staff member still under all staff because they are still a staff member, but you'll also find the process that they've been assigned under evaluation. Since all of our staff are assigned some type of evaluation every year, even if it's an off-cycle process for teachers, we really shouldn't have any staff not evaluated. So it doesn't hurt once in a while to click on that, because if you got a lot of people showing up in there, then you need to think about, maybe I don't have all my processes assigned. Action plan, again, that is strictly for those certified staff members who are being put or placed on a professional improvement plan, and those would be discussions with Dr. St. Pierre. I hope this has been helpful, and good luck to you on the 2019-20 school year.